Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre here, back again with some more Infinite Lagrange. I'm today going to go through the patch notes that came out yesterday, that released today. And I'm also going to cover the patch notes that I didn't cover last week, because I said I was going to do that, and then I didn't get round to it. So I want to do this one quickly, because it's a very small patch note. This is today's patch. Should hopefully release this today as well, so, you know, you'll see it in time. Really interesting change and a really, really good fix. So, let's jump straight into the fix, because we may as well. So, they've fixed an issue where the primary weapons of some corvettes incorrectly lock onto the front row targets under specific conditions. For saving my mind trying to say what all these weapons are, I'm just going to tell you which corvettes got affected. The CV-11-003, not relevant really. It's a terrible corvette, not really worth running, so don't worry about that one. The heavy cannon corvette of the CV-M011, that's the cannon variant of it, not the missile variant. Not a bad ship. I prefer the missile personally because it has the indirect fire, but this might fix that issue anyway, so this could potentially be a sort of medium okay ship now. We then have the Silent Assassin. I don't think this is really going to change anything. I feel it's probably still going to be pretty terrible. We then have the Pulse Turret on the Nebula Chaser. I'll come back to that one in a minute, and the CVT-800 also got this fix. So I want to come back to the Nebula Chaser, the Pulse variant specifically quickly, and it's because of something I mentioned within the ranking video when I did the Corvettes recently, the Corvette update, and I said sometimes it does go okay damage, and sometimes it does absolutely shed tons. It could have been because of this bug, and if it's because of the bug, then this potentially now just always does shed tons of damage. So the issue you were finding with the Nebula Chaser, the Pulse variant specifically, was it was targeting things like Special Carillion, which caused it dodge rate and stuff like that, meant the hit rate on the Nebula Chaser was pretty low. Previously, when I've been running the Pulse and Nebula Chaser, it's been an absolute S-tiered ship. So, be aware that the Nebula Chaser Pulse, I haven't got around to testing it yet, but it may in fact be back up on top on best damage dealer, beating out the Cellular Defender again. So do be aware of that. Do test it out for yourselves if you want. I will be testing it out, and if I do see noticeable differences, I will do a update on the tier list, just a quick 5-minute video where I go, this got fixed, it's amazing now, I've tested it, it's up there. Right, other than that, fix an issue with the Thunderstorm UAV shield system on the Eternal Storm attack battlecruiser failed to work properly when under attack from plasma weapons. So this was the weird UAV system that sort of gives you a 20-25% damage reduction from any energy-based ship. I actually didn't realize that it didn't affect plasma weapons, so you're thinking things like the Connemara's plasma caster, even the Eternal Storm's own plasma caster in the M2 slot. So nice little fix. Just means it's going to work across the board now, hopefully. Again, there are better in slots, in my personal opinion, because I do believe this shares the same slot as the reduced damage from everything armor, which is just, you know, it's just all around better probably in most cases. But it's a fix. We've also got to fix an issue where your ships providing anti-aircraft support for the same row friendly ships would incorrectly lock onto the aircraft in the enemy formation under certain circumstances. I don't quite work out how they managed to translate this in such a way that it just sounds terrible and really incoherent. So, what I believe is sometimes ships weren't firing in the same row. Now, this fix could be really, really big because some of these ships that I'm guessing are going to be fixed now, things like the Winged Hussar AA and stuff like that, where they had issues, but sometimes they did work and they did fantastically, sometimes they just didn't work. This could provide a lot of ships for us to have anti-air capabilities now, so I will have to be retesting the AA capabilities of all the ships that have that feature of same row anti-air. So this is really cool. Other than that, we are fixing a display issue with the icon of the base facility, resource port 2. Okay, I didn't realize there was an issue, but there was apparently. Revised the description of the docking effects of the root control branch and root control center to, once docked, increase max action points with the actual docking effects unchanged. So, yeah, the root control branch, I believe, is the +2 AP, and no, it's the max action point ones. Oh, these will be the +2, whatchamacallit, the +20, I think it is. I don't know if the root control center is the +50 off the top of my head. Either way, they don't actually change, they've just changed the description on them, so it's really not too important. So there we go, that's the patch notes that are coming out today, and I'll jump over now and we'll cover the patch notes that were last week's, because there were some big changes there, and I do want to briefly talk about them, even though the list is as long as my arm, to say the least, but I won't actually read them out because I would probably bore you all to death doing that. So, yeah, let's jump into that then. So here we are. This is the patch notes from, was it last week or the end of the week before? I can't actually remember. Either way, this changed an absolute bunch of the system HP. And for the most part, a lot got big buffs there. The battle cruisers especially got some very big HP buffs on their systems, and some of the ships got some slight nerfs. It's not a massive difference, but it is something to note that for the most part, your frigates are going to lose their weapons and systems a little bit more easily than they did before. Pretty much everything else, though, got a buff. So everything Destroyer and above got an increase, more or less. There are some odd ships. For an example, the Mare Serenatus went from 3,500 to 4,800 on the systems, and then 4,600, 45. So they've balanced out all the systems, the HP. And it's really useful because, for one, a lot of systems were just getting knocked out within matter of seconds, and this actually really does stop that from happening quite a bit. And a big issue was with utility ships, so your miners and stuff like that. You could literally blow up the engines on them and then like 100% blow them up. That also got changed recently. But it could actually put you in a position where you can't play the game, because if you were out of resources and say you used your last resources to build a utility ship and it got blown up, instead of just retreating, that was literally you pretty much out of the game if you weren't, say, docked on top of an asteroid or something like that, so you could get minerals that way, or you didn't have any of the industry buildings inside the base built. So there is a bit of a worry there, but they have fixed it, thankfully. They also changed the standby power system, has been added for the X8. This is the chance of triggering the emergency evasion, even if the propulsion is damaged. I saw a lot of people complaining about this, and someone pointed it out to me like day one. You can blow up utility ships now. I instantly went and tested it and went, yeah, no, this needs to be reported to the devs. So thankfully they have fixed that. 3, system attack mechanism adjustment. After the command system is destroyed, the upper limit on the automatic maintenance time is adjusted to 3 from 5. Unfortunately, we have no idea what 3 from 5 is, because we have no idea what those numbers signify. It could be seconds, minutes, or anything like that. I've asked the devs for verification on this. I never got any back, unfortunately. Adjustment union of level XP values, 95,000 to 10,000. I specifically went over to the devs and went, this is a really bad change. And they've changed it, thankfully. So what originally would happen is if you started a new union, you had X number of members you could have, and you had to try and get 95,000 experience with new players, with like new tier of ships, and all of that to rank up so you can get your member count higher. So eventually you may have got into a position where you maybe got to level 5 or level 6 or something, go into a server, your second server at that point, where you're now up against any union in the game, and they could have been around for, you know, as long as I have been, 6 servers now. They could have been beta players and been around longer. So they could be in a position where they were detrimentally at a loss anyway, because they're against stronger opponents, but at the same time, they're also down on members, and it was a little bit unfair. So they have changed that now. So it's less XP to get your level up, to get you more members, which is a nice little change in my opinion. Personally, I don't think it's necessarily, and they should just leave it open. Or maybe they should have 100 members and then allow you to increase past 100. And then we're all in a similar situation at that point. But yeah, it'd be nice to have 200 member unions, to be honest, instead of having to have feeder unions and stuff. And I know a lot of unions use them nowadays because of the meta of mega alliances. It became a thing. So, addition of firing drill events. We passed all that already. Daily limit for uploading custom emoji is added. I didn't realize they did that. I've personally not added any custom emojis. This is due to the fact that it doesn't work on the PC client whatsoever, so you can't do it. And I generally do run on the PC. Yes, I've got it on my phone as well, and I could do it that way, but I'm lazy, so there you go. Adjustment of completion condition of strength in numbers event of no strength without unity. Again, that's already passed, so we can ignore that for now. So, quick one on here. For the most part, this was a nerf to people running Newlands and stuff like that. Again, it's sort of 50-50. If they are running frigate, destroyer fleets, it got a little bit easier for them to knock out your weapons. But at the same time, you've still got dodge rates and stuff to play around with that sort of smaller ship sizes. And then your bigger ship sizes more or less got more HP, so they're not going to be knocked out so easily. So it's a little bit better for running cruisers and battle cruisers and carriers, but not by much. Honestly, I haven't seen much of a difference between systems getting blown up before and now, so it could just be the case of it looked good on paper, but it wasn't nearly enough to really make a difference. If anything, it's a few seconds, and it honestly doesn't make that much of a difference, in my opinion. So, there we go. That is the patch notes for this week, and either last week or the week before, I can't exactly remember which, covered. And hopefully that'll keep you guys going for a little bit. I've got tomorrow will be the Solar Whale module ranking, and I have several questions that I'm going to record today as well that were asked within the community post that I posted. The ones that I can answer, I will do a quick video on as well to give you guys a bit of a hand answering those questions. And I am still working on that beginner guide. It's a bit of a doozy because it's a bit of a big one, a bit of a long one. I am considering now actually changing it into episodes and creating its own playlist. So you can just search for the playlist and just watch them all one by one, and limiting them to 30 minutes as opposed to it's like an hour or something at the moment, and it's not finished. So it's going to be, yeah, I'm still considering the break it up into chunks. If you do think breaking it up into chunks would be better, do let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.